Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the founding of the union, how it came about, and that Agnes Scott is still part of labor history in the United States, being the first facilities group in higher education in the state of Georgia to unionize until quite recently. Some other groups, mostly bus drivers and dining hall staff, have unionized. So if you could talk about what precipitated that, how you got it together to start a union in a state and in an institution that opposed it and continues to oppose the union.
That's true. Well, it was a scary time because we did not really know whether or not we were going to get fired or what. You know, there's always somebody that's going to go talk and tell and whatever. But I think it was basically, the wages and the fact that we weren't being paid for the work we were doing. We weren't being paid enough to actually, I don't know how my mother and these ladies survived. You know, Maggie had a husband. My father had died when I was 12. And she worked here at the college. I don't know how they survived on that money. But we did manage to get, because unions are supposed to be for getting people wages and your working conditions. And we needed to do a lot of changing around. Agnes Scott was nowhere near perfect then. And the way we got it was really interesting, because when we got those sign-up sheets, do you remember Rufus Helton was the head person? He went across under the underpass and got the sign-up cards from the union rep, come back over, gave all of us cards, to give to so-and-so or whatever. The people that we knew were going to talk got their cards last. But he gave this other fellow who worked in the dining hall, Cleveland Lindsay, gave him a set of cards. And within an hour time, we had all those cards signed and were ready to turn them back in. And at the last minute, we gave the card to this one person who signed it. And that was a day. That was a day that I'll never forget.
Yeah, you was into that. But I know one thing, they made it so easy for them not to sign it because they told them they didn't have to.
Who told them?
That they didn't have to sign it because they were going to get this, whatever we got anyway, because a lot of people wasn't in it. And they knew they didn't have to be in it.
Because it's a right to work state.
Right.
So Rufus Helton, did he work in maintenance?
He worked in custodial. He was
Okay.
in Buttrick.
Yep.
Okay. And well, how did the organizing happen? Did the union rep come on campus? How did you contact Laborers International? How did you come to see
One
them?
of the professors here at Agnes Scott, I won't call his name but one of the professors told Rufus about Laborers International, and Rufus went up and talked to them. So they explained what we had to do. We had been, group of us talking with Rufus, and Rufus telling us, we really needed to get this union in here. He was very instrumental.
Yeah,
he was. But he was very instrumental in getting it. I think if it hadn't been for him standing up and starting it, we probably would not have gotten it.
And we know we needed something to get more money.
Yeah.
Needed all the help you could get back then, because that was one thing they was short on.
We had quite a few members back then. We had the majority.
Yeah.
They tried to get rid of the union once. They talked to people and told them you don't need it, and they went around. You remember when they had this one a carpenter going around with his list saying, you sign this list to get rid of the union because y'all don't really need it. And this is what they do on all jobs. you know, you really don't need it. We can give you what you're asking for without the union.
Yeah.
That's a typical thing that all, you know,
Yeah.
that's done everywhere. But I remember he was out by Maine and what was then the hub. And he asked this one lady who was one of the ladies that, along with Ms. Ivy, that I've always respected. I had the privilege of working with her for a while, Mrs. Bates, Annie Ruth Bates.
Yeah.
He asked her to sign the list, and she signed it. And then she said, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't look right, or whatever.
That's her.
And she took the eraser and just went to erasing, and by the time she got through erasing, there was a hole in the paper. So then we got our list together saying we want to keep the union, you know, and we still have it.
The college after the union came in and you had the contract.
Well, that contract is supposed to ensure that your rights are, they're following in it, and in it is responsibilities and rights that the employee has. The main thing was the money. We did get a raise then, and the fact that anytime the union man would come out on the campus, it was like, oh my God, he's here. What are we gonna do? And you know, but I don't know. I'm talking all the time.
Well, you do that. That's good. You know what?
But
You
I
remember that because you was doing it.
saying.
I was just there.
So do you remember how much the wages went up?
When I first, we were making $5 an hour then.
I really.
Well, like to me, it was like $5 or $6 an hour. And I can remember once Miss Smith saying to me, I went over, being the bad girl that I am, I went over to ask for a raise because I thought I'm doing the same thing that the other people in Buttrick are doing. And I think I deserve the same raise they did. And that's when I realized what she based her raises on. She said, you don't have any children. You're not married. And you don't need that amount of money. I'm like, she's telling me what I need. And I remember that so clearly. I didn't need what
You
this
was
other
young.
lady did.
She was messing with you, Della.
Well, she not only was messing with me,
I
she
know.
wasn't giving me what I wanted.
I know.
And that was a part of why we got the union in the beginning. You know, you got people working alongside other people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I do recognize seniority, but I'm just saying, I think mine should have been raised to more than what it was. Because I can remember at one point, I think it was then, y'all were bringing home something like $27, $29
Finally.
dollars
Finally
a
got
week.
that. Uh-huh.
And mine was 19, I think.
After the union?
No,
No, before.
before the
Well,
union.
you know, it didn't move too fast.
Well, but it moved.
It did
you know,
move, though.
And along with it, you got holidays, more holidays and things.
Okay.
The only thing that we couldn't get, we negotiated after